Hello and welcome to the House Drumworks. The track we're going to work on here is from the Rockschool Debut grade, and it's a piece called Be Cool. So once again, hopefully we can develop your performance of this piece a little. For those of you who are not working on this as a grade piece, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of concepts really. One is improvising, and also dynamics and how they relate to playing at this kind of tempo. This particular track throws up some a couple of concepts that students find a little bit tricky. One is the fact that at one point we're playing quite loudly, but also still playing quite slowly. There's a common misconception amongst a lot of musicians as they start out. In fact, even non-musicians. That loud means fast and fast means loud. Now, obviously that isn't the case because the two aren't the same. In music, you often will come across that as being a pairing that does occur within music. Similarly as slow tunes can be quite quiet and soft as well, but not always. We can't equate one with the other. That's one of the important things to pick out here. So improvising with Be Cool. We might, for instance, use cymbal crashes. We're in a kind of rock environment where that kind of emphasis will certainly be appropriate. What I want to talk about is probably pertains to the thing that I was saying a minute ago about the dynamics. It's a game of two halves, this one. It's a piece that's got sort of a more laid-back introduction and then a louder second half. So that's absolutely right for using a little bit of improvising. So I'll play through in a moment and show you how we produce some basic improvising ideas. In terms of the exam, in the debut grade, you haven't really got any bars which are notated specifically to improvise in or to develop your own part. Now, having said that, it's fun to improvise, so I would certainly say, and I certainly encourage my students when they're practicing through these pieces, to improvise, have fun with the piece. Whether you play those improvisations on the exam day is totally up to you. You've got to make that call. If you feel that you've come up with ideas that have improved the performance of the piece, and they're obviously improvisations and embellishments that enhance what's already there, then that's a good thing. If we've just changed things and dumbed the part down to make it easier to play, and we say, oh well, that's improvising, then we're not gonna score quite so well in an exam type format. So we've just got to be a little bit realistic. But be confident to start exercising some judgment. Play through the piece, experiment with ideas, and start developing a sense of what you feel works and what you like the sound of. It's all part of developing your own signature on the drum kit as you go. So I'm going to jump straight in now and just play the piece with some very, very basic improvised touches. So really, my take on learning improvising on a basic level to start off with is just looking at changing sounds that we would use. It's a pretty sure, safe bet with an exam as well, because when you've demonstrated to the examiner that you know that the bass drum is in the bottom space, and that you know that the snare drum's in the second space down, and you know that the hi-hats are on the top line there, if you then move away from that, it's less likely that an examiner is going to see that as you misreading, because you've already shown him that you understand that notation. So I always think that's quite a nice way to introduce improvising at this level. So I'm going to play through the track. Here we go.
Be cool. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go. So 3 ideas really within that piece. One is that when I hear this music, I feel that the first half of the track has certainly got a sort of a lighter energy to it. Cross stick works nicely for that. Simple idea, just laying the stick on the drum, tap the rim. It brings the dynamic down and it also gives you then the option to move up to use the full-on snare beat later on if you want more volume. Use the crash cymbal after the fill. Very simple idea, just to it's like I always think of a capital letter is always my thing that sort of used to describe a crash cymbal. We might use a fill to end the section, and the crash cymbal is like the capital letter saying, right, we're starting a new section here. Very strident with the crash there. Also, moving from closed hi-hats to splashed hi-hats. Just opening up the cymbals a tiny bit. Very easy technique to learn, not too far. What we're after when we play splashed hi-hats is the sound of the cymbals washing together, not separate. Okay? The hi-hats are very cleverly designed with a thinner top cymbal, thicker bottom cymbal. If we get those cymbals sizzling together. Think of a long version of the closed hi-hat tone. So if you think of that tone, rather than, it sounds it's coming from a totally different sound world. So listen for that splashy sound. Works real well. So the other thing I was going to mention with this piece is that especially when you're building up in volume, there is a real tendency to want to rush and want to pick things up. So one of the basic tricks that we can use is to think of the stick heights again on the kick. So when we're playing quietly, or if we're using the snare drum, stick height's a bit lower. When we're playing louder, just open up on the movements that you use. Not only is that going to help to bring you the volume that you're after, but it's also going to help to hold the tempo back. And you can bet certainly early on when you're playing this kind of piece, we get caught up with the excitement of it really. The track really lifts, we really want to gun it, but try and hold it back. It's a big, powerful, open sound. It doesn't want to feel like it's rushing. It's very detrimental to the feel of this kind of music. So hopefully there's a few pointers that will help you with Be Cool.